Welcome to the lab. This is episode 12, and we have a couple different topics for today. I am Kel, and I'm here with Mr. Cody.
What's up?
And this is the lab. Now that you've found us, we're on the YouTube and the Spotify now. Getting all fancy. So if you want to see our beautiful faces, hop on over to the YouTube. Yeah, how are you doing today, Cody?
Pretty good. Nothing too crazy new. I have my knee appointment on Monday. It's now within days away after like months and months of nothingness. So I'm trying to like not get my hopes up because I'm slightly terrified it's not going to be any better or different. And I am not going to lie, I'm slightly triggered because Des was having some shoulder pain. So she messaged her doctor. Her doctor sent her to an orthopedic, like literally the same day. And like it took like a week to get into orthopedic. That orthopedic like was super awesome and listened to her and is like sending her to PT and gave her like a treatment plan. Like this all took like a week. And I'm just like, yo, I couldn't even get my doctor to send me to PT. Like I had to take that upon myself. And like I've been waiting. And so I'm just like, what is this? And yeah, so I'm just hoping this is like the beginning of something. So there's that.
That sucks, but I was listening to a different podcast earlier this week, and they were talking about PRP injections and how much they helped and stuff. So like I don't know, and it was two bodybuilders. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
maybe if your doctor does something and you get the PRP injections, maybe they will help a lot.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for trying the PRP injections. The problem is my insurance won't cover it. So like if I'm just worried that it'll be another like month's wait just to try to get my insurance to approve it. So I'm not really sure how
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, especially because it costs thousands of dollars. So
crazy.
It's one of those like financial risks to take, especially if it doesn't work. Then you do end up with surgery. You got to pay thousands of dollars for that as well. So it's amazing. I actually owe $500 to my medical group at the moment for absolutely nothing. I've gotten zero treatment and I owe them $500, so it's great.
That's so stupid. Insurance sucks,
legit. But anyways, sorry for that pity party, but how are you doing? What's new with you?
I'm doing all right. I'm back into the swing of things since vacation, so that feels good. I just missed everything so much, and as you know, I'm on a different little training plan, so I'm pretty stoked on that. I kind of just like getting back into the swing of things. Work has been terrible, but that's all right. It's it's factory stuff. Everything's falling apart. The what are we talking about? Labor shortages have really been hitting us hard. So we're just struggling, but that's all right. Making it through, and it's beautiful outside, so I can't complain that much. It was my birthday, so I got to go out on the water. My girlfriend rented a boat, so that was fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Where'd you guys go for the audience?
On the boat. On the boat we were just on. It's called Alum Creek. It's a crappy lake here in Ohio, but but it was fun nonetheless. We got to zoom around, so that was fun. But
nice.
Yeah, that's cool. About it. That's nothing too exciting here. And are you drinking out of a mixing bowl?
I forgot we have like this whole YouTube thing now, and I just realized this looks very strange. So okay, here's the story behind this. Okay. So my coach, right, my post-workout meal, he gave me 20 grams of cream of rice and like 40 something grams of protein powder. That does not compute. Like it does not work. I would be eating chalk. I might as well just scoop the protein powder out of the bottle. So I'm like, fuck that. So I made this like protein powder, coffee, and like tiny bit of like banana shake thing just to make up for those 20 grams of cream of rice carbs.
Yeah.
And so the reason it's in a measuring cup is I don't have a cup big enough to fit all of it in. So that's where we're at. I'm also on a diet right now because I'm fat. So like I'm actually hungry.
I know, dude. I'm hungry too. I'm like, this sucks. I've been fat and happy for so long.
I know it's actually like extremely hard to backpedal the food because it's just like, oh my God, like the little things actually count now, like, because
Yeah.
when you're bulking, you're like, I'll stick a few things in my mouth that I should. That sounds sexual,
Yeah.
but like, then you're like, oh shit, like I can't do this. I can't get away with this. This isn't bulking. This is cutting. And so it's like it's like this new level of discipline that you have to reintroduce yourself into. And it shouldn't even be that way because it's like the off season is important. It is this foundational thing. And it's like, why is it in our brains? We can't really grasp that it is like just as important to be on task with things. And then you go to diet mode and you're like, I wasn't on task like I thought I was.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm at. Right now I'm drinking I love these things, the Zevia root beers.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why, but it hits that sweet spot for me, like, because I usually crave chocolate really bad after dinner, and so I have one of these and it's my treat.
Nice, that's awesome.
But they're 0 calorie, 0 everything, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, I've had those before. They sell them at Whole Foods and stuff, so I should just like get them if I ate there. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I don't know. We have them at Kroger, so I buy them a ton of them. So
Sweet.
They're very expensive, which is ridiculous, but whatever.
That's
Anyways,
when you just give the Mio trick a try, as long as it's not caffeinated. And
yeah, that's the other problem I got into, the caffeinated Mios, and I had like 12 of them, and I'm like, why am I so shaky?
Like, oh, fuck some shit up.
I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. All right.
Sorry, guys. Just a great.
I haven't even had that much caffeine today.
We're off to a great start.
But today we have kind of a mismatch of product. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. This is great and go great for the podcast. So today we have like 3 loosely connected topics that we wanted to touch on.
Are you banging on something?
Oh, I keep hitting my microphone by accident. Sorry.
I'm like, what's that like tap?
I'm like fiddling with my like short string, so and I just keep smacking it. Sorry. Oopsie. This is like this is worse than when we were stoned.
When you were stoned, I mean.
When I was stoned. When
I was wishing I was stoned, but it just didn't kick in. Sorry. I was just like, what is happening here?
Yeah, okay. No.
Carry on.
I will stop now. So what we wanted to talk about was kind of the differences that we see between what Instagram makes beginning gym people think and the actual reality of what is happening. So that's kind of like the loose basis of our podcast topic for today. And then we're kind of going to go into some deeper differences with like how fitness can help your body dysmorphia and what kind of stuff you actually need to be successful at the gym.
Yes.
Cool. So that's what we have on the docket for this evening. All right, so what do you think? Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess we could start with Instagram and reality. And so something, I mean, it depends, right? Because a lot of times people will post before and after pictures, and sometimes people have a problem with before and after pictures to begin with. I don't think they're problematic personally, but when they get problematic, it's because people don't understand the time frame, right? Usually between progress photos, I know I personally post the amount of time that has, gone on between one picture and the other, but it doesn't even seem to matter because people still either ask me how much time has been between these photos or they think it happened in a month or whatever. And that is probably the biggest issue because that's what gets people into these unrealistic expectations. And then they end up quitting because they think it should be happening quicker. And it's like, I literally have posted like 6-year difference, 14-year difference. And no matter how many times you say how much time is in there, people just, their brains do not grasp that that's
Do not compute.
years and years. Yeah. So how do we fix that? I actually, I don't know that I know.
Well, and I think the other issue is that some people, because there's a difference between like what you will post and what other people will post. So I think people just in general need to know that like Instagram is curated, number one. Everybody knows that on a logic level, but it somehow doesn't sink into like the feelings level. And I think the other thing is that sometimes people are trying to legitimately sell you something or scam you. Like that happens. People do that on the internet all the time. And so one thing that I've seen, especially with before and after pictures, is they'll make like crazy posts about how it's been 1 week and this is such great progress already. And it'll be like either you can't tell a difference, but because someone's saying it's a great progress, they're just like, well, I'm just clearly don't know what I'm looking at. And or they'll change like the pose or the angle and the lighting and it'll look different, and it's literally not different at all. And I think it tricks beginners a lot. Just that those slight changes, because posing and like how you angle yourself can do a lot. That's why there are coaches for bodybuilding who only teach posing, because it makes that much of a difference.
They literally teach you how to hide your weak points.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that the general public doesn't really understand is there's a good way to hide things on the internet.
And on top of that, some people do Photoshop their shit. We know someone who calls that out like every single day.
Follow Goob if you want
to if you want to see how many people actually Photoshop their photos, it's not a bad idea. Just follow him. You'll see. But like, I mean, personally, I didn't even realize it was that common.
I didn't either.
Fucking real. He points out things that I would not notice, literally
ever.
But
and professionals who do it, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, very crazy. So then it is kind of like a good little wake-up call to realize how much people can actually fake on the internet. And it's getting even worse to where people are able to even modify their videos, because that used to be like the way to be like, you know what, I do videos too, so you can totally see what I look like because I do my updates in video. But there's even ways to edit your videos now to make you look better than you actually do in real life. And so it's just kind of like, who do you trust, really? But like personally, I would never do that, because you're going to see people in real life. And also, if that's not your actual physique, I wouldn't want to post something I wasn't actually proud of. So I don't get that, but people do it.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense at all. And I think it's just a really big issue in the industry. It's like, well, and everybody's trying to sell something. So just take everything that you see with a grain of salt, especially if someone's trying to make a buck off you. But I think that's one thing that people just need to understand with the differences between Instagram and reality. And you can find a lot of good quality information on Instagram. We're not saying that it's all bullshit, because I mean, obviously we're on the Instagram too, but just again, everything with a grain of salt. Ask your follow-up questions, and look at everything with a keen eye, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. And just like basically question everything. I know that it kind of sounds awful.
Trust like no one.
Trust no one. That is literally the theme of Instagram. Trust no one. Not even me. Don't trust me. Don't trust Cal. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to, you can
follow up with everything.
So it's a rough world out on the Instagram. But just kind of, I think one of the biggest things to look for is if someone is selling something, always question them. And just when it comes to like trying to see what a realistic time frame is, man, I don't even know if our brains are capable of grasping that until you're in it.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I think it's just kind of believe what people are saying. Like, no, that's against what I just said. just look at the time frames. If there is a time frame, make sure you take second look at it. But also, if there isn't a time frame, you can always question that. I mean, some people are trying to trick you on
Yeah,
that front.
yeah.
So with that, I did you want to kind of talk about how fitness can help, like has it helped your body dysmorphia before like all your transition, or like I guess maybe the way I was kind of thinking about it was when I first started transitioning, I think there was a lot of different expectations, especially when you start T, you think you can like fix a lot of things through exercise and working on your body. And some of that is true and some of that is false.
Yes.
So, so do you want to talk a little bit about that and like kind of your experience with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because like I feel like it could both make it worse and help it
And
depending.
better, yeah.
It's all literally about your mindset and how you see things and like if
Mhm.
you can see reality. But when it comes to body dysmorphia, that's very hard. Obviously, that's why it exists. But so as far as how fitness can help, I, you know, get it? No, I'm just kidding. It's just funny because like I literally one time was talking to this guy at the gym, and he's one of those guys, just kind of a talker, like he'll always talk to you. And he was talking about, or he asked me something about, or he said I looked good or something, and then he was like, "You're in here all the time. You look good." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm still working on it. Got a lot of work to do." And he's like, "I mean, don't we all? We're all here because we have body dysmorphia." I was like, not a lie. So
Little do you know, sir.
I know. How can it help? I feel like it can help in the sense of it does help you feel more comfortable in your skin and your body, and you do realize because it does give you a sense of control, right?
Mhm.
Um, it's not easy. It takes time, but if you can grasp that and still continue to stay consistent and follow through, it does help in knowing like, oh, I can actually work towards this, or I've been doing this and I really like how my body looks right now. And it does give you a sense of confidence and you feel it, like there's a world of difference between me like 14 years ago who like wanted to disappear and never be seen and stuff like that to now where I feel like I know that I have work to do, but I feel comfortable in my skin. So I feel like
Mhm.
there's a difference. It can kind of get confusing of being like, what is like positive and what is not, like what is like when I look in the mirror, I see both things. I say like I'm really proud of where I've come, but I also am not satisfied yet, and I have more
Right.
work to do. And some people might look at that and be like, "Well, that's kind of body dysmorphia," but it's like no, because I still feel good about where I'm at.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the way I kind of approached it, or not approached it, but that's kind of the experience I feel as well. Like, so I was stoked when I first got on T and like I started really hitting the gym, and like I could make my arms look better, my shoulders look better. And like the way I was thinking about it is like if I could just like broaden out and it would force perspective was my goal. Because I'm like, I know I can't get rid of like my tits before I got surgery, or like I didn't really have hips, but like you can't really like target body fat. Like I've always known that. But like I think that's one thing that people are misinformed on, is that they can get rid of things
Yeah,
without surgeries. And that's just not how it works. Like you can't
yeah,
say I just want to get rid of my hips if you are hippie like pre-transition,
yeah,
or like getting rid of your chest just by working out chest. That isn't something that's possible. You can
yeah,
work on your pecs, but that's not going to get rid of the tissue that's there. And there are people who will try to scam you into that, and like thinking that.
yeah,
And it kind of is shitty when you see people in the community targeting their own. um so don't listen to people who are saying that they can help you do that kind of thing, because you can't get rid of tissue like that.
yeah,
But you can, again, force perspective, and you can focus on the things that will make you feel better. So like the one thing, like I said, I tried to work on my upper body a lot and try to get broader essentially, and that helped me a lot. And the sense of control that you can get from working out and following a plan and that kind of thing is really awesome.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess the body dysmorphia doesn't necessarily go away, but it can get channeled maybe.
Yeah. And it's like you still have it's like, well, too, there's a difference between like body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria. So
Right.
it's kind of a weird thing to like juggle at the same time, because sometimes it's body dysmorphia, sometimes it's gender dysphoria, and you have to like figure out which one it is.
Yeah.
But like for me, I know when it comes to like the hip thing too, um, that's probably something that like I don't have large hips, but it is still something that I am self-conscious about. Like, is I'm picky about things when I'm like going shopping for pants or something like that. Like it always is a bit of a trigger for me. Um, but like you said, you can use fitness bodybuilding to kind of combat that by making like your upper body bigger and wider, so it makes your waist slimmer. So like that is a way that fitness can help it. Uh, and I think that a lot of people just kind of give up and don't really know what is in their control, because you are limited to, like with hips, you're limited to whatever your skeletal structure is. But with body fat recomposition, of course, it takes time, but you might realize that your hips aren't as big as you thought. Or your chest can shrink if you lose body fat. The tissue that's there won't go away still, but it can shrink slightly. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like these things that are in your control. Fitness can help you with. It's not magic, it takes time, but if you want it bad enough, you put in the effort, you can help yourself out.
Right, right. And the one thing that I do think that Instagram can also be bad with is kind of like triggering all that body dysmorphia, especially if you're like scrolling and doing that comparison game. So that is one
Yeah.
thing to kind of watch out for, especially if that's bothering you. I tend to unfollow accounts that, or like hide them. Can you pause it? I think you can pause them.
Yeah.
If you're really struggling, like if you're going through like a rough week, or something along those lines, just unfollow. Don't need to
Yeah.
make a scene about it. You don't need to worry about it. It's all right. No one will notice. um so take care of yourself first. And if because remember that body dysmorphia is a lot, it's in your head, um whether we like it or not. So just remember that you can help that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely not easy, for sure.
No, definitely not.
Because brain likes to play tricks on you. um it's like sometimes you don't even really see yourself until you like see yourself in a photo. I don't know if that makes
Mhm.
sense,
No,
but like
absolutely.
you perceive yourself so differently. And then sometimes like someone takes a photo with you, or you have like a group photo with people, and you see yourself and you're like, whoa, like that's way different than I thought I looked, or whatever. And usually it's like a good thing. You're like, oh, I mean, maybe not sometimes, but like
Yeah.
you're just like, oh
Hey,
wow,
it
I
reflects
look
the effort
okay.
you've put in often.
That's
So
true. Whether that's no
um
effort or all the effort.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think there are tricks, and I think it helps to talk about it, especially talk to people who have been there. Again, shameless plug for our FTM group over 30. But it does help to talk if you have a coach that's understanding, or friends or internet people. I don't know. And so I think it's a double-edged sword. Instagram can be for basically everything. So
Yeah, and I think for the FTM community, especially, I know I struggle with this sometimes. Like, it can be hard because it's kind of a wild card of what you're dealt, right? How your body structure is, like how long, like how late in life you transitioned, and you might have certain body parts that like this other person that transitioned younger like does not have to deal with. And that could really, really affect you mentally. I know, because there's literally nothing you could do, right?
yeah.
So there's this like, man, that's not fair. Like I have to deal with this, and like they just nothing, like they're just perfect, and so there's like this other layer when it comes to being trans, I feel like, where you can really, really get caught up in the comparison trap in a bad way.
Yeah. And I know me and you have talked about it before, because we always get so bummed out that we didn't start this earlier. And especially when you're comparing yourself to either other trans guys who transitioned earlier, or even cis men, like, because I know me and you are both so into bodybuilding, and it's like, and we work really hard at it, and it's just like sucks because like there's like kids coming up these days who are like started in like high school, and it's just like,
Yeah.
we can't go back in time. We're kind of fighting an uphill battle at this point. But
Yeah.
hey, Masters of Vision. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can compete in masters now.
But I mean, we all have to like respect our journeys, and even if that sounds really corny, I mean, it's Pride Month, so we might as well celebrate it, right?
Just this month though.
Just
next month it's over.
We're back to shitting on ourselves. We're just joking.
Yeah, please don't take it seriously. Yeah, so it's kind of like that whole, like, if you get caught up in the comparison, that's where things can go south.
Right.
And it's really hard to have a realistic view of time frame of, these comparison photos of time of like this person transformed, and your brain is thinking this happened very quickly. In reality, it did not happen very quickly. And it's just a matter of like, it's almost like you just got to pinch yourself, like check in with yourself and be like, hey, what is reality and what is your brain seeing, and how can we fix this?
Well, and then the other thing that we have to also take into account is genetics. Like, so my body at a certain weight and a certain body fat is going to look so much different than even your body. We're basically the same age. We train similarly. We eat similarly, but we're just going to look different because we're different people.
Yes.
So we all start off at a different point. We all have different makeup inside of our genes that we cannot control. So I think that's another thing that you always have to remember with those comparison photos, or before and after photos, and playing that damned comparison game. Yeah, because like just today I sent Cody an article about it was talking about how different body fat percentages look on a person, and I was like, that's so flawed. That's such a flawed concept for an article. Body fat is going to look so much different on everybody. It has so many factors. So
yeah, it really depends on where your body stores it. And I think that's usually people's biggest frustration, especially when people come to me and they're like, I want abs. I'm like, okay, cool. But abs come harder or easier for different people. Like personally, like abs are a little on the easier side for me because that's just not where my body likes to store fat first. So my body fat percentage could get decently high and I could still flex some abs. But like usually I get it in my back first. Like I'll store fat in my back. And people don't really realize that. So I'm like a back fat person instead of like the abdominal fat. Like it's there. It's back here. So
and I get all of my fat in my face and in my abs.
I do get it in my face too. It's if I look at my prep pictures, I'm like, damn, like I got a fat face now.
Like suddenly I have 12 chins.
I
still have no fat on my legs, which is weird.
I got no muscle on my legs either.
Damn me.
I know. It's crazy. I feel like that is one thing though for me personally that has shifted in transition, because I feel like I used to have bigger legs. I didn't feel I had bigger legs. I did. But with body recomposition, it pulled fat out of my legs. And so I'm like typical guy who skips leg day. And I'm just like, when did this happen? Because I was like a soccer player and I had beefy legs. And now it just like people tell me don't skip leg day. And I'm like, I really don't want to right now, but I kind of like can't help it. But
I think
I
you
still
should just
do
legs. Pistol squats forever.
I'll just have one really good leg. Yeah. So
just make sure you pose different.
Right, exactly. Or I'll amputate and then just go for the one-legged show. But yeah, it's just like everybody is different and where you store fat is different. So it's okay, I feel like, to look up to somebody for inspiration, but it gets a little iffy when you want to like look like that person, because sorry to burst your bubble, you will never look like that person because you are you. And that's just how it is. Unless someone was like your twin, or you had a very, very similar body type and structure freakishly somehow, like then maybe you could look similar. But since you're you and they are them, unfortunately, I'm sorry, you can't look like them. So the best way to compare is from an old photo of your own. Like that's the best way to do it. And it actually does help. That's something I do when I start feeling shitty. I'm like, damn,
Same.
I don't think I've made any progress. And I look back and then I put two pictures together. I'm like, there it is. Okay, cool. That doesn't always work sometimes though, but it's like that usually is what boosts my mood. And I'm like, okay, I am getting somewhere. I'm making progress. I'm just focusing too much in the wrong place. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it just helps to like, even if it's like one body part, like so if you focus on like trying just like zeroing in on one difference that you've been working on, and like then you can see some changes, or just like noticing things, and that always helps also, like little things.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else to say about that? You want to move on to our next one?
Let's move on. If we think
All
of
right.
something, we'll come back.
Sure. Cool. So the next one was stuff you really need to work out at the gym. Because I mean, again, the internet is trying to sell you stuff, especially these targeted ads. they're coming for you on Instagram. And so I wrote down the two things that you need for the gym: flat shoes and water.
Yes, perfect. It really is all
That's
you
it.
need. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And
Other things can help. It's like depending, like don't be that guy who has everything wrapped up in something. Like I saw some guy who wears knee sleeves on arm day. Like you don't need that.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
You don't. Or someone who wears a weight belt even when they're doing like cardio.
Mhm.
You don't need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like people wear belts because they think it keeps their waist small, but it's like, no, it's not real actually. So if someone
No.
tries to sell you like a waist trainer, like run the other direction.
Yeah, like I use a belt if I'm squatting heavy, and I take it off between each set. Like I hate having it on. Like it
Yeah.
helps me just for remembering to brace, but that's kind
Yeah,
of
that's
about
different.
it.
It's for
Yeah,
a reason, but like
right.
people who wear it all the time because they think it like keeps their waist
That's
small.
just
It's
ridiculous.
like no, you are keeping your waist small by like, like keeping your core engaged and not just like letting it hang out. But
Right.
the belts may be counterintuitive to that because it's like doing it for you when you should be the one engaging your core.
Mhm.
Like not with squatting, I just mean like if you're
Oh no,
curling and you're
yeah,
wearing your belt.
yeah.
So it's just like nah.
Right. And like at least the way my rule of thumb is like don't brace it unless you absolutely need it, because you really want to work on those like stability muscles. Like that's important to have control over. So
Yeah.
usually I try not to use anything to help like make it easier unless it's absolutely necessary. That's my kind of rule of thumb. Also saves you a buck. So if
Mhm.
you're budget conscious, just know that a lot of this stuff that you'll see in the gym or for sale for the gym are not necessary.
Yeah, for sure. Like honestly, you could probably get away with not using a belt. I mean, as long as your back is okay, like it can be helpful if you have low back problems and stuff. But like I've literally never used a belt and I have low back problems, but it's not something that's like 100%, necessary.
Yeah.
Like I get that question a lot of like, when should I start using a belt? And it's like there's no time frame. There's never a point where like, yeah, you lifted 200 pounds, so it's time to use a belt. It's
Yeah.
just like um it's great for people specifically who want to focus on strength. Like it can be helpful if you're a power lifter and you want to lift as much as you fucking can. So you
Yeah.
want this all the help you can get, then yeah, go for it. But it's like one of those things that's not a necessary item.
Right.
It's just there for supplements if it aligns with what you need. But yeah.
So if you have some extra cash, what would be the one thing that you would add?
Probably grips. That's what I would add. I avoided using them for a long time. Uh, but they really come in handy when you just want to like focus on hitting your back. Because of course, you know, grip strength is important. And I think it's probably good to build up a base of solid grip strength first.
Mhm.
But it when it becomes a limiting factor to your back day, I think that they are pretty damn helpful. And I noticed a really big difference when I started using them, because you really are limited by your grip. So when you start throwing those in the mix, you can hit your back a lot harder.
Yeah.
Uh and I needed to grow my back, so that's why I got them. I was like, I don't want to be limited by my grip anymore. I need to really focus on my back, and so that's why I got some grips, and it's been a game changer for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so grips are the ones that I use Versa grips. So like they strap around your wrist and then it says like a flappy thing right here. And so essentially you go, well, since we're gonna be on the internet now,
I know,
on
I'm
the
like grab
YouTube.
some.
So then you like whip them around your and hold. You can also get lifting straps, same idea.
Yeah, so these are Cobra grips because I'm too cheap for Versa.
Same
There's
thing.
the truth. So yeah, same thing. It looks like a Cobra. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, it's real great. But so they go around your arm like this. I have a watch on, so it doesn't work very well. But so yeah, right. Yeah, it's great. Is this using the right? I don't know. Yes. So you wrap it. People don't know how to use it though.
Yeah,
So like
that's
you wrap it around this, and then you go like, so the bar is here.
you're
So
right. Don't put them
it's
against
like,
your palm.
if you go like this and then wrap
It
like
doesn't do
that,
anything. Yeah.
it literally does nothing. But yeah, those are grips.
And it's the same idea if you get lifting straps. Sometimes gyms will have lifting straps, so you don't have to buy anything. I know my gym has like I think 2 or 3 pair that they just keep with their clips.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can get those. I also use them for lunges. Sneaky.
That's a good idea.
So I can hit
actually.
legs better.
That's a good one.
Because usually sometimes my grip will get like tired quick, especially if back day was right before leg day. And so I'll use them for lunges too.
And like, if you do want to build up your grip, there are other ways to do it. Like if you
Yeah.
really want to focus on your grip, you could even do a few sets without the grips first, and then like not use them until like you get heavier to the point where your grip is limiting.
Right.
But honestly, I must say I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like just use them. I
Yeah.
feel like I should have used them way sooner. That was my bad, and I'm all for it now.
Yeah. Let's see. The one thing I did want to talk about was shoes. So a lot of people when they first start lifting, they immediately get like a decent pair of like running shoes. That's everybody's like go-to thought. But especially if you're just lifting weights, just work out in flat shoes like Trucks, Converse. If you really want to Vans, yeah, yep, that's what I lift. I lift in
those.
I lift in like check slip-ons because I don't tie shoes anymore apparently. So I used to do Nobles, which are athletic shoe. They're expensive as fuck, but they're flat also. So if you really want to get like a training shoe, like CrossFit shoes are usually pretty flat.
Yeah.
And you want it like a sturdy flat, not like a squishy comfy shoe. Really is not what you're going for.
Yeah, it's like I see it a lot. So I'll get like form videos from clients who are new, and they try to squat in running shoes. But running shoes are like made to push you forward, like to have that heel strike, be more efficient, push you forward so it's easier to run. But when you're squatting and it's trying to push you forward, you cannot stay on your heels very well. So not only are you like sinking into the ground because the shoes are so squishy, they're actively pushing you onto your toes.
Right.
And so it's like, that is the biggest problem with running shoes. So whenever someone does that, I'm like, sorry, but if you lift in like a flat shoe like Converse Vans, or like the CrossFit ones, or any like minimal, even if barefoot, if you take your shoes off to squat, it's way better than just running shoes. because you can
A lot
actually
of people
feel the
do that
ground.
too. So you
They do.
wouldn't be the only one. Yeah.
No, like you see it a lot. People take their shoes off to squat or deadlift, because it's more stable. You're not sinking into the ground,
Mhm.
and it's not pushing you in any other way, like direction and stuff like that. So that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, just because I'm like, like, it could be so much better for you. Just change your shoes.
Yeah. Some people do, especially if you've had them before. So like I was an Olympic weightlifter back in the day. I had lifting shoes for squatting. Essentially, there's rigid shoes that have a heel, and it's really good for squatting because it's easier to not lift up your foot when you're squatting. It's pretty technical to talk about on a podcast that some people might not be looking at, but the idea is that it gives your heel elevation, so you don't have to worry about your foot coming off the ground. If you have those or you want to buy them for some reason, if you're having a really hard time with your squat, those can be good. They are expensive.
Yeah, like $100+
Easy 150
Yeah.
at the cheapest. So I would suggest maybe looking online and used ones if you really want to give it a try. Also, you can
Smells
just
good.
use your you can just use your flat shoes and put little 2.5 pound plates under your heels and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
So
it's like for people who have ankle mobility issues, I would recommend lifting shoes, or you can like lift your heel with the little plates, because it's like if your ankle mobility sucks, it gives you that little bit of a raised heel so that you can get deeper. But if you don't have mobility issues with your ankles, you don't necessarily need them. So if you want to save some money, just get some Converse.
yeah, but those you also don't want to do anything but squat really in them.
Yeah, not even deadlift.
Right. Yeah. So don't be wearing those for like everyday use also.
Yeah, that's very unnecessary.
Unnecessary and also probably can hinder you.
Yeah.
So
What about I know a lot of people wear wrist wraps.
yes. I wear wrist wraps for my top set for chest press and overhead press, but I don't wear them otherwise. I think that they're useful when you're doing super heavy. I have wrist pain sometimes, like depending on things. So if my wrist has been bothering me, I'll use them, but otherwise I don't use them. Again, I try to build up the supportive muscles around my wrists as opposed to like just try to cheat around it. But yeah, I would only use if necessary.
Yeah, I haven't personally tried using wrist wraps yet, but so far I've not had any wrist issues. That's like the only issue I've not had, so I should probably knock on wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see how they would definitely be helpful if you have some wrist pain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I used to get really bad elbow pain from like if I did a lot of like hanging or if I'm dipping a lot, I'll get wrist pain really bad. I think it's from softball, to be honest, from a million years ago. But yeah. So I use it again only for top sets, when necessary.
I might dive into using them at some point because I'm getting older. Pretty soon I'm just gonna be
Soon
the
you're just gonna
guy.
be taped up.
Yes, I'm gonna be like
You're gonna look
wrist
like a mummy.
wraps, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves. They're like, what are you working today? And I'm just like, arms. What about knee sleeves? Speaking of,
I've never used knee sleeves ever. Knock on wood, I've never had knee problems.
lucky.
Yeah, I do not want to have that.
Yeah,
But I've never used knee sleeves. Have you?
I haven't, but I've definitely been. I might here soon. I've thought about it, especially now, but like, I feel like I can't really push myself at that much right now to like spend the money to get some knee sleeves. But I do sense that I probably will whenever I get this issue fixed, because it does just create like, even if it's a placebo effect, it's a little bit of this like layer of comfort, because it does keep your knees warm for my arthritic old ass, so it keeps them warm, and then it does give you just that little extra bounce, if at the bottom where it gives you a little bit more oomph, and I'm old and
Yeah.
shit, so I can benefit from that, and it just feels like it would be more secure. But that's the only reason I would really use them.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where it's like you need knee sleeves or else you can't squat.
Right. Yeah. No, I've never even had them on, to be honest. So that one you got me on. I think the basic principle is don't use something unless you absolutely need it, except for grips.
Yes.
um, and before you get grips, try to build up your grip strength. You don't need it when you're just first starting. But yeah,
For sure.
I think that's kind of like the overall is don't waste your money until it's necessary, and you'll know when
Yeah.
it's necessary.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of, I feel like gym equipment when it comes to like wrist wraps, knee sleeves, belts, stuff like that. I feel like it's kind of like a distraction for people in the way that supplements are a distraction for people, because it's like
Absolutely.
this way to complicate things and be like, what do I need? Like, I need all these things before I can start, or like, what supplements do you take? Like when you ask someone who's like fit or whatever, and you're like, hey, what supplements do you take? It's like, you are missing the whole picture here.
Yeah.
It's not about the supplements. It's like everything outside of that. What are they doing? What are they eating? Like that's what you need to ask. So I feel like a lot of times when people ask about equipment before they even start, it's like you are missing the point here. There's this huge thing, there's this huge option for you to just like start, but you're focusing on the wrong thing. So if you're thinking of like ways to start, or you're thinking of what you need before you can start, literally the only thing you need to do is start.
Yeah. And I think you hit it right on the head. Yeah, just go. Worry about that later. Everybody really just wants to buy their way into it, but like one
Or
nice thing about fitness is in overall health is kind of like it's one of those things that you just have to like earn.
yeah, it's like I think people can also use money as an excuse in that sense, because they think they need all these things. They're like, I just don't have enough money to get started. But I'm going to tell you the good and bad news, and that is that bodybuilding or lifting or strength training is actually very affordable. So
Yes.
if you're using the excuse of you don't have enough money, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to pound that into the ground for you, because you don't need anything. Like a gym membership is probably the best investment you can make. And there are gyms like Planet Fitness, it's like $10 a month. It's a great way to get started.
Did you see
Because
that they're offering it for high schoolers for free this over the summer?
what? That's
Yeah, I thought that was
awesome.
pretty dope. I mean, I
Wow.
wouldn't want to be there when they're all
Way
there,
to
but
it's like way to go, Planet Fitness, but no thanks. Yeah, so it's like if you live in more of a rural area, that's harder because you're not going to have that much access to equipment and stuff, and then it does get expensive if you want to do like a home gym type of thing. But even if you want to get started, like body weight is still something to start with. It's not going to progress you past a certain point, unfortunately, but it's a good start. So if you're waiting to start until you have the money to start, here to tell you that's an excuse, and I'm sorry.
yeah. Yep, just earn it. Just get out there and just start.
Yes, exactly. Sorry.
Huh? What do you
I
got?
was like, what are we talking about next? Do we have any other equipment things that
I don't think so. I think that was all of it. And that's again for people who are going to the gym, like not home gym stuff. Because I
yeah,
think that's a whole nother ball game. And I think we're gonna have to make a whole episode on that
sure.
front, which I'll
Yeah,
add to our list because I don't think we have that.
sweet. Yeah, because it's like during COVID, home gym stuff was like the only option for a lot of us for quite some time, and it was almost impossible to even find anything for a reasonable price or find anything at all. And like I got lucky with what I had, but now you can get basically anything that you need. It's not this weird like nothing is available thing, but it is still unfortunately pretty expensive. But
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go away anytime soon.
Nope. I think it was always expensive.
Yes, I think so. I think no one was looking before.
You're right. Everyone's like, I'm not gonna exercise, and then COVID
Yeah.
hits, and like, oh shit.
Damn it.
uh
All right. Did you have anything else? Because I think that's all I had today.
not on the equipment uh list. Did we already talk about? We did already talk about everything. Whoa. Uh
Boom.
just efficient today, apparently. I
Efficient.
don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I think today will just be a little bit of a one more thing that's necessary, I think, is a phone. So you can take pictures
Yes.
and videos,
Yes.
form
And
videos.
yeah. Oh, you just okay. Besides the phone, I'm gonna tell you what you really, really need for your phone to be able to take videos and photos. So like a lot of people, I'm so happy we're on YouTube now. Okay. So so a lot of people, I have a lot of messages. So so a lot of people have a phone, right? And they're like, I how do you take form videos? Like I don't have anywhere to put it and I feel awkward. So there's these little magnets that you could buy, and it's like imanmagnet.com or something. I'll put the link in the
Mhm.
description. These little magnets that cost hardly anything will change your life because you can stick it to anything and you can, take a proper video from a proper angle. Like so many videos I get and I just see someone's like left butt cheek and I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do with that. Like it could be okay. Nice ass, but like I don't know. So like if you want to actually send like good form videos or like get yourself in frame, I would invest in these little magnet things. And it also comes in handy even if you're not working out. You can literally just stick it to your fridge and like
Yeah, I do that
the
all the
phone holder
time.
for me too. Cooking dinner, I stick it to the fridge.
Well, what's really funny because when I was using, I would put my gym has metal trash cans like all around, and so I always stuck it to the trash can, and I'd be like, "Excuse me, I just gotta get my phone." It's like on the trash can, and people will look at me so weird. I'm like, "I'm just taking a video. Don't worry about it.
Don't look at me. Yeah, no,
Don't
like
look at me."
I've accidentally left it in the gym before because I will put it on the bench like underneath. I'll just stick it there so I don't like step on it or whatever. I've walked out of the gym and then been like, oh shit, my phone. So I had to like run back and like grab it between some big guy's legs or something. I'm like, sorry, I forgot my phone. Gonna go now.
What the fuck?
I know. So yeah, don't do that, but it's very handy.
It is very handy. Um, all right. I think that's all I had now.
Wow. And we could talk about like if anyone wants to look into like a certain brand of clothing, like gym clothes, because it's a good way to like reward yourself.
That's true.
Sometimes if you're like there, some companies are not so great or shitty, or if you are a trans man, there's some companies that just don't seem to fit right. Uh,
Yeah.
but ours
What's your
definitely
favorite?
so. Honestly, so I have two things that I am a creature of habit with. So Young LA, for whatever reason, seems to fit me pretty well. So whenever I buy like gym stuff, whether it's shorts, some shirts, tank tops, I'll go to them. Uh, I don't know why they tend to fit me right because I'm a short guy, so it's kind of hard for me sometimes. But they tend to just kind of be on the money with that, and they're not super expensive. They're kind of middle ground, so it's a nice little break from something like Alpha Elite, for example, is super fucking expensive. And I feel like it only looks good on Christian Guzman. And so I'm like, nah, like I'm not tall and lean legged with no calves. Like those joggers are going to look ridiculous on me. So Young LA is my personal favorite, but then I also I buy my own merch and then I cut the sleeves off because I get it at cost. Okay. Like
Yeah, I mean, I don't
it's
blame you.
cheap. Yeah. So that's what I do. How about you?
I do Gymshark mostly. And I know everybody's gonna groan at me, but it is cheap and they have 5-inch shorts, which is all I essentially wear because I'm also pretty short and it fits well. It's pretty cheap, sizing's pretty good. That's what I get mostly. And then I do a lot of thrift store t-shirts and I cut off all the sleeves. To
Yes.
be honest, I don't like spending a lot of money on gym clothes because I'm just gonna sweat in it and be gross. So I just go cheap, especially because
Yeah.
right now I'm going through size issues. This is
Same.
I need um clothes to fit my back and my shoulders, and I am sizing out of a lot, and then sleeves are tight on my arms and I don't like that, so I cut off all the sleeves.
Same. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at, is thrift store t-shirts and Gymshark shorts.
Yeah.
um
I've not tried Gymshark before.
they're nice
I'm
because they're like
curious.
20, it's like $20 for shorts. I don't like wearing shorts with liners because I'm disgusting and wear shorts twice usually, at least, before I change them. um so that's why I like the Gymshark Arrival shorts in 5" is what I get, because they have pockets, which is also a necessary component for me. So
That's true. Pockets are important because you got to put your phone and stuff somewhere.
yeah, and then but they're $20 and you can't really beat that. So
Yeah, that's actually really good because t-shirts these days are $35. And I'm like,
so
what?
stupid
What in the hell? Do you remember when
for a plain
sweatshirts?
shirt.
Yeah. And like sweatshirts
Oh,
used to be that much.
yeah. Also, I like $6 t-shirts online. Have you ever been to that website? It's just a bunch of
No.
goofy shirts and like that
What?
have stupid puns on them. Like
That's
I have
awesome.
one that has this old dude with a metal detector on a beach that says "Beach better have my money." Can't beat that.
That's amazing. All right. Now I know where I'm
six
gonna
dollar
go
t-shirts,
after
and they're
this.
all six
$6
dollars.
t-shirt.
So
Damn, you
can't
cannot
beat.
beat that. And you could cut the
Yeah.
sleeves off.
And exactly, I've made a lot of them crop tops. It's really my jam.
That's amazing.
Nerdy punny shirts.
That's awesome.
Hey,
One
$6 t-shirts sponsor us.
Yeah, can you that'd be great. Yeah, give us $5 t-shirts. But one thing I was talking to Des about this the other day because I do want to get some more tank tops because it's summer, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to wear it in public and not be like, yeah, I cut my sleeves off. What's up? So I'm on the market for some more tank tops because I have grown out of my other ones, but I am really particular about the strap thingy. It's for some the straps. If they're too thick, I don't like them because it just like makes me look fat or something. Like I just look husky instead of like
It's
and then
like
it looks like
redneck wear when they use like they
yeah.
go right to right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like those like weird muscle shirts. And so
Yeah.
I if I do get those, I'll try to like cut it and thin it myself. Or yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it's a gender thing. It might be like a dysphoria thing. It's almost like if I can't see enough of my shoulder, I feel like I have tits. So that's why I'm particular.
Yeah, I just recently bought a bunch of new tank tops from Old Navy because I needed the same thing. Right now I'm wearing a really cool one that has raccoons on it though.
Yeah, I like the straps on that too, by
Oh,
the way.
thank
I was
you.
like, where'd you get that?
This is American Apparel, I believe.
Oh, I love
Um,
American Apparel.
but like the kind that they like just sell blank ones, and then I had they were screen printing at a festival I was at.
Awesome.
So
That's one thing too with American Apparel I used to do. They have their junk t-shirts that are like kind
uh-huh.
of fucked up that they sell in big packs, but like
Hmm.
it's a little bit of a gamble, but it usually works out and they're super soft and it's like
I love
$10.
them. Yep.
So I've done that a lot too.
I get a lot of those, and then they have alternative apparel, which is American Apparel but for the environment, which I like a
Ooh,
lot. There's a thrift store in town that gets a ton of American Apparel rejects, and they have dollar days every first Saturday, and like so you can go there and get like shit for $1, which is wonderful.
damn,
But
that's
so,
awesome, especially right now. Like everything's so expensive right now.
so
It's
expensive.
insane.
Yeah,
So
it's a terrible time to be outgrowing all your clothes.
right, for real. It's just like mind-boggling. Like Des and I were at the mall yesterday, and there was no shirts under $35. There was
Yeah.
nothing, no shirts. I'm just like, how is this a thing?
No. And I've been going, I don't know if I Poshmark a lot. So it's like online, like a little app, but it's like a thrift store, like kind of like Plato's Closet. But the trick that I have found, because I have to wear, polos and khakis to work, and I will find someone who has my size and go to their closet and bundle a bunch so I can get like all the shipping. So I think I just like bought someone's like business casual like wardrobe before. Because I'm like, I don't care what it's like, a polo shirt, they all look the damn same. So it's like,
Yeah.
whatever, just give me one in a million colors. So
That's a good idea though. Is there any like, I feel like there's some types of clothing in particular that like set off body dysmorphia or gender dysphoria. Do you have any particular like preferences or things that you're like, you feel dysphoric and you're like, oh no, never mind.
So I don't know what it is, but like I am really weird about pants. Like, and I don't know if this is like the millennial in me or what, but like I don't like a wide leg pant. So like, and I cannot get over it. And like I have this one pair of khakis, and or they're like khakis, but they're blue. I don't know what that's called, but it's like khaki material, but they're a different color. Anyways, and I love the color and I love how they feel, but they're wide legs, so I refuse to wear them. And I just can't do it. And it makes me feel heavy. It makes me feel like I look like I'm trying to dress up in my dad's clothes. And and I know that I'm passing, but like for some reason it just makes me feel like I'm not. And I don't know what it is, but it's very triggering.
No, I get that. I'm the same way. So also I feel like, once you get into bodybuilding, you're almost forced to wear like tight pants, because if you don't, you literally just look stocky as hell.
Yes.
Like there's like, oh, there's a little stocky guy over there. I'm like, it's awesome.
Yeah. Or like you feel like you don't work out at all because you can't fill them out or something. And like I'm sure you like, I have a hard time finding pants that fit right, like so they won't either fit my waist or my legs. And it's just like, this is a freaking nightmare. But American Eagle fits me the best pants wise.
Good to know. Yeah, like for me,
because they're stretchy.
Yes, that is the key. Like I cannot do pants that aren't stretchy. It's like I won't wear them. But so Young LA has these like really comfortable stretchy jeans. It has a bunch of fucking holes in them, so can't necessarily go to a nice event with them. But they are so comfortable, and they're a little long, but they're not extremely long. So it allows me. So I wear high top shoes and I just tuck them in,
stick them in. There you go.
So I'm like, yeah, we're good. Just wear high tops.
Yeah, it's fine. It works.
Short guy problems.
Dude. I usually can get like, if I can find a 30 length, I'm usually pretty solid. But everybody wants to sell you a 32.
Yeah.
I can't fit it.
Yeah. It's
swimming.
It's rough. It is very rough.
It's rough out there.
One thing that, so, if we're going to go back into the how can fitness help body dysmorphia and stuff like that. So this isn't fitness in general. This is like bodybuilding specifically. I actually feel like I fit in because there's so many short dudes that are
everybody's short
because they have like this little man complex, and that's like why they got into it. I'm like, I found my where I belong.
People. Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's what I took my girlfriend to Maddie to the Arnold this year, and she's tall, so she's like 5'10", which is pretty tall for a woman. And I'm 5'4", 5'5", and she's like, why am I taller than all of these guys? That's the sport. She's just like towering over these massive men. And she's like, what's going on? She's like, no, I'm like, no, that's just what it is. Like every once in a while, like Chris Bumstead is like the only tall bodybuilder.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's like, I feel like the only class that it really will benefit you is probably, like men's physique and classic physique. It could benefit you because you just like long and lean, and versus like kind of like compact. And so it's like, but
Terrence is like Ruffins is he's short.
Yeah, but I think that's why he gets second place every year.
That's probably true.
So it's like whenever Chris retires, he's got it. But
Yeah.
like until then, I think the height of Chris gives them that edge, because
Right.
like Terrence has an amazing physique, and there's really like I feel like they're hand in hand, but I think he gets it
Absolutely.
because he's taller.
Yeah. I mean, probably. And but then you have to like battle your weight cap. I don't know. It's
Yeah, that's true. So
so
there's that unfortunate thing. But with at least with men's physique too, they have different classes according to
right.
height. So I'm in the smallest class. It I've not always the shortest, which was great.
But it has been wonderful. You blend in so well in bodybuilding. Like no, everybody's short, and then like there'll be like tall women, like tall bikini women.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird.
It's always mismatched.
Yeah, because
Gender
I
roles are really fucked in bodybuilding. Kind of,
yeah,
I guess.
except for like
Looks
in the real
wise,
world.
not otherwise.
Yeah, well, short guys got to have a place somewhere, because you get fucked in the dating world. Like, it's so true, because you like we're both taken at this point, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of women, if you're like on dating websites and stuff, they put their height right there, and they like
Mhm.
say like you have to be at least this tall to ride this ride, and you're like, what the? You don't even
Yes.
know me.
Yeah, right. Nuts.
Yeah.
But I've
So
always been like the shorter person in the relationship, so I'm pretty used to it.
me too.
Yeah,
Well, that's kind of, well, I'm pretty short, so
yeah. Mm.
it doesn't bother
Whatever.
me personally.
Nah, it doesn't
Like
really bother me either.
if it bothered my person, then it would bother me. But since like they don't care, I don't care. I generally, in general, I don't care that I'm short. It doesn't give me a sense of dysphoria, because I feel like I've always felt it was an advantage for me personally, because I like felt more athletic, where I could like do things, squeeze into places that like some people couldn't, or like I would just be more aggressive instead of like, I'm not tall, so uh yeah, I'm just gonna make up for it and be super aggressive. Like I feel like there was always a place like point guard for basketball. I'll be short, whatever. Like I don't know why I was goalie in soccer though. That's weird, but there's always a
Yeah,
place for short people.
yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like if you've been it all your life, like it's hard to be mad about it. Almost like I don't know.
Yeah.
And there, like, I feel like there are guys that are shorter than I am, so it's like whatever, like cis guys or whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah, true.
I
I
I
worked with
wish
a
I
lot
was
of them.
taller, yes, but I'm like whatever. It just doesn't really bother me, especially now that like shorter shorts are in style. Because I think it bothered me more when like everybody's wearing like longer shorts, and then they would be like capris on me. I'm like, this is stupid.
You're like, I got pedal pushers, and
I'm
y'all are
like,
like
I just look
short.
silly.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like, um unless it comes up where someone points it out, it's not a thing of dysphoria for me. I know it is for some people.
Mhm.
But I'm like, no, I don't really think about it. I don't even really notice height, because my brother was super tall. He's 6'5". And so like,
Shit.
yeah, whenever we walk into a room, people would just be like, how tall are you? Do you play basketball? And I'm like, cool, I don't have to answer any of these questions. Like,
I'm just gonna fade into
awful.
that background.
Yeah, and like you can't fit in the airplane seats and stuff because
That's
your
a good
legs are too
point.
long. So I'm like, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it makes life easier for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the CrossFit days because CrossFit was like built around like short people, except for rowing
Oh yeah, that's the only thing
and
that
wall
I would
balls.
get you on. Oh, those were the worst too.
It's the worst.
I hated ball balls. Like
It's my
I
least
legit
favorite
hated
by
them.
far. That and thrusters,
And
but it's the same motion. So
yeah, thrusters, wall balls. Like there are times I just wanted to like walk out during wall balls, and then you're like the last one on the wall, and you're just like, why am I doing this?
yeah, exactly. And then you're like, oh, thank God I don't CrossFit anymore.
I don't have to ever do a wall ball ever
Never
again.
again. Never again.
Oh man. We should do an episode one time of like our CrossFit experiences
We
specifically.
should. We should. All right. We'll add that to the list. Because there
Oh
are
man.
some benefits.
There are for sure. Yeah. some.
Yeah. All right.
So
I
yeah.
think that's
Should
all I
I
have.
should I end it with the
Let's do
power
it. Let's hear
talk?
it.
All right. So in true fashion, I chose James Clear.
I'm so shocked.
It's just so easy because every Thursday I get a James Clear email to my inbox, and then I'm like, cool, there it is. But this was actually like 2 weeks ago. So
All right. All right.
you know,
And
it's
you didn't do James Clear last time. So I think it's been like 2 weeks
okay.
since
That's
James
right.
Clear.
Sweet. So we're doing okay. So this one, James Clear. Okay. It's kind of a long one. So
Now I'm ready
bear
for
with
it.
me. Gonna test my reading skills here.
It used to give me the worst anxiety in elementary school.
Yeah, I get it right now. Okay. So sorry, that totally just I'm gonna go on a tangent for a second. But did you ever like so I used to zone out when I was a kid,
Yes.
and then like I would get massive anxiety when I realized like it was about to be my turn and I'm like trying to figure out where the fuck we were. And it was always awful when the teacher called on you and you didn't know where you were because they literally punished you for it. And they're
Yep.
like, this is why you need to pay attention. And then like something happens, you get your name on the board or clipboard or something, and I'm like, this is why I have issues.
I cannot read aloud. Like I for some reason I can read it in my head, and when I look at it to read aloud, I can't read anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me, but like I just like I'll trip over the words because I'll be I don't know. It's terrible. I cannot. That's why if I write notes or do research to like talk about things, I'll bullet point it and like
That's a
make
good
it the
idea.
smallest amount of words possible because I
That's a
can't
good
read aloud.
idea. Yeah. I think it's a social anxiety thing because your brain
Yeah.
just like starts going and yeah. But anyways, I will read this long quote now that I've successfully put us on so many tangents this episode. So here we go. All right. Most big, deeply satisfying accomplishments in life take at least 5 years to achieve. This can include building a business, cultivating a loving relationship, writing a book, getting in the best shape of your life, raising a family, and more. 5 years is a long time. It is much slower than most of us would like. If you accept the reality of slow progress, you have every reason to take action today. If you resist the reality of slow progress 5 years from now, you'll simply be 5 years older and still looking for a shortcut. So, this I love because I
I like
always
that.
say that time is going to pass anyways. So, you might as well, even if it's snail ass slow, you might as well start now because you will have at least made some progress towards your goal. And if you don't start at all because you're like thinking, oh, that's going to take too long, I'm not even gonna try, then yeah, you will never reach that goal. You just won't. But it doesn't matter how long it takes necessarily. Yeah, because eventually 5 years will pass whether you start or not. So imagine what you can do in 5 years if you do start, even if it's like little things. So it's like we tend to get paralyzed, I think, by like the bigger picture and thinking about how much time something can take. But it compounds, and like one time, like you will get there at some point. You'll have 5 years from now, you can either look back and be so proud of all the work you put in and your progress, or you could be looking back and be like, damn, I wish I would have started because I've literally gotten nowhere. So that's why I really liked that quote. Because that's just one of the things that I always like to say. It's just like time is going to pass anyways. Doesn't matter what you do with it. Like you might as well do something to get closer to your goal.
Heck yeah. I like that. That was a good one. And I think that's a really good one to cap off this episode. I don't think I've heard that James Clear, so
Well,
kudos
hey,
to me.
cool.
Awesome.
Brand
We
new.
all learned something new. All right, cool. Well, again, we're on Spotify and on YouTube now. So if you prefer one over the other, hit it on up. We also have a couple exciting things that are going to come down the pipeline here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, and we will see you all next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.